Right, today I'm going to make a Spanish stew. And for this I've got an onion which I've peeled, a stick of celery I've chopped up, and a leek that I've chopped up, a green pepper that I've chopped up, and a red pepper that I'll chop up in a little while. As well as that, I've got a clove of garlic that I've peeled, I've got fine grater, I've got some sherry, I've got some smoked paprika picante, salt, carton of chopped tomatoes, some jazzy potatoes, and a knife, and a nicer dicer. First thing we do is put our gas on under the frying pan with about 3 tablespoonfuls of vegetable oil in it, and we start chopping our onion. Our celery, our leek, when that's done, put the onions, leeks and celery into the frying pan. We're going to stir fry this until the onion is slightly browned. We'll come back to that. What I'll also do is I'll grate the garlic into the onion mixture. Give that a bit of a stir. Now we'll prepare this other pepper, take the top off it, get rid of the stalk, get rid of the seeds, doesn't matter if there's a few left. And let's chop this lot up. Finish with a nicer dicer and put that aside. Now this stage calls for a little bit of patience because it is important that you get some colour into these onions. You can see it's beginning to get a little bit of colour. At this stage, the onions are beginning to break down, produce a little bit of sweetness, which is really what you want. We can now add the chopped peppers, give it a bit of a stir, and that's just a lovely colour. And while that's been frying, I've prepared about 100 grams of frozen peas, which we'll use later, and some parsley. Just about ready for the tomatoes. Which we're going to cook for another minute or so. I'm going to add one of these Norfish stock pots, which I think are pretty good. Just add it into the stock. Give it a good stir. 60 mils of, a little bit more if you like. This is Amontillado, but you could probably normally use any dry sherry. Pour that in. Crucial ingredient, some smoked paprika picante. At least 1 generous teaspoonful of this. I really like a little bit of fire, so a little bit extra. Finally, a little bit of salt. The smell of this just gets better and better. Now the jazzy potatoes. These are British potatoes. Available all the year round. Okay. Now I've just put some water into the carton, basically washed out what's left in there. I'm adding that. Another stir. Now in goes the potatoes. Best to sprinkle these in like this. You don't want them to be stuck together. To get them under the surface. And we'll bring this to the boil. We'll cover it. Reduce the heat. And let it simmer away. 30 minutes later, I've come back to check the stew. Bubbling away nicely. Just take out one of the potatoes. Check that it's cooked. Turn off the gas and sprinkle over my peas. I'm going to chop up some parsley. You can afford to be pretty generous with this stuff. Got a lovely smell, lovely colour. Now you can just cover that up and you can leave it for a few hours if necessary, and you'll come back to it say about 15 minutes before you want to eat it. Well, I've reheated the stew with the peas and the parsley added, and it's now time to add the fish. Just cut it up roughly into chunks about this size. Fishmonger will do this for you if you ask him nicely. Just position the fish around the stew like this. Has to do this pretty quickly because we're not going to cook this fish for very long. Then we just push the fish under the liquid. Put the lid back on. Leave that for about 5 minutes. But here we are, 5 minutes later. The stew's ready. And as the Spanish would say, ahí está.